Welcome back, everyone. Well, normally you guys would see me out on the water rather than in the back of my boat, but I was out fishing yesterday, a little bit slower, which is fine. That's the way it goes. This whole fall / early summer has been a little bit of a challenge. The fish have been kind of scattered out, but regardless, this morning I woke up to about 30, 35 mile an hour winds right off the bat this morning. I thought, no, I'm not getting out of bed for this. So I'm kind of want to do a video like this for quite a while, but I guess today is just the perfect day. What I'd like to do is just walk you through and give you a tour and the pros and cons of my ZV21 Nitro. I'm going to start at the back of the boat and kind of work my way front and kind of explaining everything as I go. Now, the way I have things set up may or may not be everyone's style. It may not be what people like, but it's just the way I like it. Everything's just my opinion, and everything's just the way I like things. Nothing more, nothing less. So stay with me. I'm going to walk you through the entire boat from front to back. Starting off the back of the boat, yes, that is a blanket. My wife puts a blanket on the back of the motor so I don't scuff the back of the wall when I back it in. I do run a 300 Mercury. If I would do it over again, when I ordered the boat in 2018, I talked to the dealer, I talked to the salesman, and he said all you're going to gain is about 2 miles an hour from the 300 to the 350, so that's why I run the 300. If I do it again, of course I'd run a 350 or even a 400, but this 350 has been bulletproof. I used to fish a lot of terms. I still do fish a couple, but I don't need that big a hole shot. I don't need to run 65, 70 across the lake. So for what I do, this 300 is just fine. Of course, I could change props and get more speed out of it too, but I like it just the way it is, and it's not that big a deal to me. I do run a 9.9 kicker in the back. I do pull a lot of cranks, and we also do a lot of salmon fishing. So that 9.9 kicker has been bulletproof. This is my third boat. I've had them on all 3 boats. It's been a great little motor for me. I figured why change if I'm not having problems. So, kind of a Mercury guy. I've had, like I said, 3 boats. My first boat had a 90 horse Mercury at the 9.9 kicker. My second boat had a 150 Yamaha and a 9.9 Yamaha kicker on it, which great motors too. But now I went to this style boat and I stuck with Mercury. Now as we go up in front of the motors to the back here, this compartment holds 7 containers, and I got all my cranks on this side. As you can see, I do have them labeled, or I did. They're starting to fade off, but that's all pretty much my favorite cranks in this compartment, or the ones I usually use all the time anyway. And of course right in the middle, which is all kind of similar to a Ranger boat, is the live well. And as you can see, I don't know if you can see with the glare, but it did have a divider in it. I took that divider out. Maybe I should have kept it in for when I'm doing tournaments, but oh well. Then of course as we move over here, we got another compartment with 7 more containers, and I got 2 more sitting on top. But I do got more cranks in here. I think 4 of these are cranks, and then like that one there and that one there, I got some pre-tied Schnells for pulling spinners or slow death or whatever. And then right there, I got some more, I guess. That's another container of them. And then I got some weights, you know, some snap-on weights, some Lindy weights, weights like that. So that's pretty much from this part of the boat back. Now this here, I don't know if you can see it, that little tiny mount right there, I got put on the back of here because I can see my pile of junk there. Right there is my downrigger board. It's a board where I can put all 4 of my downriggers on, and where I mount that to right here. There's another one on the other side, and the board sits right about here. So that way I can have my downriggers out this side, out the back here, and out the side over here. So what I did, being that I did not order the boat with the rail from here to here, or the back rail that would go here to mount a rod holder on, I just went and bought a thicker piece of hard plastic, and then I drilled out the holes. Then I used the screws that go with this mount, and then I just mounted it on. So it works pretty good. Reason I did that is because, as you can see, the rails are not overly long that came with it. So, you know, rod holder here, one up there, just a little bit too close for what I like. I usually get tangled up. You get into rough water, rods start bouncing, they get tangled up pretty easy. Now you come over to this side, and of course it's the same thing. You know, this mount's exactly the same as the one on the other side. The only thing I got different is I got my live scope pole mount right here. That is the Bruce City. I think it's called Bruce City mount. Yep, Bruce City. Got my Bruce City mount right there. I got my Garmin that I bring with in the boat, so I don't have the pole in here with me. But I also bring my Garmin with me in the boat also. And the reason, if you're asking or thinking, why do I have my live pole mount right there on the side of the boat, and that is because I like sitting, or standing actually, right here when I fish. So this is kind of my view. That's my full view when I'm fishing, of course. I'm on the water, of course, and this way I can see, you know, both my graphs. That graph there is the HDS Carbon 12. I run that as just my map lake. That one there is the HDS Carbon, or excuse me, the HDS Lowrance live target, or live. So that's kind of my view of the, as I'm fishing here, is my two graphs, and then my Garmin that I take ice fishing and everything else sits right here. There's live scope pole. That way when I'm fishing, this is right where I stand. I can watch the live scope, and I can look up and watch, you know, whether I got that one on 2D or side scan or down scan. I can watch that one at the same time. Then of course, as I'm trolling, I can watch my map lake on that side. So everything that I need to do, and plus I can watch all my rods right here. So everything I need to do, I can do it from this point right here. I know a lot of people stand up front or sit up front. I've never been a fan of that, never have. So I know majority of guys always sit up front, and like I said, I've never been a fan of it. I like sitting back here or standing back here. And there's a number of reasons why I like standing back here rather than up front, but that's for another day. And as we kind of work our way up, I'm able to store, I think, 6 rods right there. Running back, there's Velcro strap right here to hold them down so they don't bounce in the wind. And what I do really like, because all the time it seems like the net's always in the way, you're always reaching for the net, it's bouncing around somewhere. Right here, I don't know if you can see it very well, but there's a hole back there where the net of the handle goes to, and there's a little side compartment. Let's get a little better view of it. That net slips right in that little compartment, so that net is always stowed away when you're traveling. Great, I love that. And then of course Nitro put this on here, so of course your net doesn't slap against here and rub the paint off. And then got the cargo compartment, or cargo storage compartment here. We got a lot of junk in there too. I usually keep my remote for the trolling motor in there. I have my crank tuner in there, headlamps, whatnot, all in there. So the boat's got plenty of storage. I love that part of it. Right here's another compartment for some clear containers. I got a container of cranks I hardly use in there, and then I also have my jigs in there. So we go over to the other side, and of course here's your controller for the big motor. Here's your controller for the kicker. And then there's the key to turn the kicker on. And then, if you can see it back here, that is, of course, where I keep all my needle nose, my scissors for cutting line, and my scissors, all my special scissors for cutting braided line. Then a couple cup holders go in there. Then, of course, this is the dash. You got your gauges. Right here is a cover for the other gauge. If I can get it off here. That gauge there, when it started, of course, you can go through all your settings, your hours, your fuel, whatever you need to go through. Here's all the controllers for your live wells, the bait well, you know, the navigation lights. Here's the main power button. And then, of course, I have two-sided Velcro for my Troll Master sitting right there. So when I'm taking off or when I'm starting to troll with the kicker, I can just sit here, reach down here and get it turned on. No big deal. And of course, when I ordered the boat, I already showed you my graphs, but when I ordered the boat, I only ordered it with this one here. And as time went on, my other boats, I had two graphs, and it kind of drove me nuts only having one. So last year, the year before, 2 years ago now, I think I added this one on here. So now I got two graphs. I'm a huge Lowrance guy. My last boat had a Humminbird. I liked the mapping on the Humminbird, but I didn't like much else about them. So I love the Lowrance. Now as we get towards the middle of the boat here, of course, there's where I sit. Here's where I put all my rods, or majority of my rods. I got them really stacked in there. Normally when I'm fishing tournaments, I usually carry about 30 rods with me, and that is in here and along the sides, kind of like I have them now, which looks a little trashy, but it works. Now as we go towards the front of the boat, actually let's start at the window here. You can see the window cover I got. I've had I think it's called a limo or the limousine cover is one I started off with, and now I just put this on. And that's the flak jacket. I love this one so far. It was kind of a pain to put it on because when it arrived, these snaps here were supposed to be on here and they were not, so I put these on myself, and that was kind of a pain. But one of the reasons I love this one compared to the other one is the zipper right here, so I can open the window and go through the window and still have the cover on. And also, of course, you can see it snaps on to the window. The other one had straps that came down here on either side, and we bring them up through here and then snap it together to hold it on. The other one held up nice. It still looked fairly good when I pulled it off, but overall I just thought this one was a little bit easier and a little bit better, and maybe even a little bit neater. Now as we get up here, that compartment right there, that is actually a cooler. That is a lifesaver, especially when you're planning on being in the water all day long. You don't have to carry no cooler with, no nothing. You drop your ice in there, you drop your drinks, your food, your bait, whatever you put in there. That works phenomenal. Now right there is a bait well. You can just open that up, and actually there's a middle bucket that fits right inside. Never use it. I don't know why, but I've never used it. I think I've used it once or twice the first year I had the boat. Other than that, I've never used it. And then right there and right there, we got more storage. That's where I keep my life jackets. I think I got a couple crank rods up in that one with my lead core on it. And then as we get towards the front of the boat, right there, another graph, my HTS 9 for the front of the boat. And then of course my pedals for the trolling motor, and got all the controls right there. And there's my Minn Kota, I believe it's a long shaft, 110 pounds of thrust trolling motor. And the reason I went with the long shaft is because all the other trolling motors that I've had, of course, anyone who fishes knows when you get in some of that rougher water, it doesn't take much to get the trolling motor to lift out of the water. So I went with a longer shaft. Also, when I ordered the boat, I ordered it with the motor guide on it. It's a toss-up which one I like more. If I'd have to, I would probably go back to the motor guide rather than the Minn Kota for kind of two simple reasons. The first reason being is the motor guide, when you put it on like anchor mode, it seemed to keep the boat a lot steadier, a lot closer. It didn't drift as back as far. It kept it kind of more pinpoint than say this one does. And that goes with the spot lock also. It just, that motor guide really seemed to keep it more precise on where it kept the motor, or kept the boat, excuse me. This one here also, the motor guide has, I thought the motor guide had a little more power to it, where this one, still kind of trying to get used to a little bit, but the motor guides did seem to have a little bit more power too. The downfall of the motor guide, obviously, since I got a Minn Kota back on here, is because this boat is a 2018. I ordered it in the spring of 2018. Of course, that's when I had the motor guide on it. 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago already. So I had the boat for, 4.5 years, 5 years maybe, maybe even 6 years, whatever it's been. The board went out for the GPS. So I didn't have anchor mode, I didn't have spot lock, I didn't have any of that. But so be it, I kept fishing, I just dealt with it. And then the following year, which would have been last year, I lost everything, the other board went out. So both boards went out within 6 years. I thought, $1,900, $2,200 for a trolling motor and you get 6 years out of it. That kind of seemed a little not great if you ask me. So my other two boats that I had besides this one, I had Minn Kotas on them. Never had a single problem with any of them breaking down, nothing like that. So that's kind of went back to the Minn Kota. I do like Minn Kotas, but like I said, I think if I had a choice, if the motor guides would last a little bit longer, I would probably stay with the motor guide. My personal opinion. I did forget back here in the back of the boat on the floor. Oh, got junk flying. Got 5 batteries back here. These 3 here are my trolling motor batteries. That's my cranking battery. That's my accessory battery. And underneath there, I don't know if you can see it, is a shut-off switch, main shut-off switch. That's where I'm going to get the pros and cons of this boat. When I got this boat, up until last year, I had this boat in a number of different times because I would lose charge all the time. I could charge it on say a Wednesday. You come Friday or Saturday morning to go fishing, the whole system would be dead. Could never figure it out. I had it in, like I said, numerous times. Nobody could figure it out. They all said I was crazy and it works fine. Then also when you got fishing, say you were pulling cranks, you had your kicker going, you were running it by the steering wheel, you had your kicker going, you had everything going, 4 hours, 3.5, 4 hours, it'd be dead. Everything would be dead. Once a year, the accessory battery would have to be replaced. It was shot every single year. All the, all the batteries are interstate batteries. They got frustrating, carrying a battery pack with all the time, jumper cables, because your boat was going to go dead in 3 to 4 hours. So finally last year, I took it to a guy and he called me up and said he had it figured out. Well, I've heard that 1,000 times already, but I think he did. And what the problem was is right from the factory, Nitro actually wired that shutoff switch backwards. So, you got your off position, you got position 1 and you got position 2. When you got it on 1, it runs off one of the batteries. When you got it on 2, it runs off both batteries. They had it wired backwards, so when you had it on 2, it only actually ran off 1. So the accessories, the motor, everything ran off of one battery. So ever since then, I have not had a problem. Guy would have thought right off the bat that if that was the issue, you know, that probably would have been the first thing everybody checked, where they would have got the issue fixed right away, but it wasn't. So a couple grand thrown at it, trying to figure that out. Got it figured out. That part of it is done. I'm hoping. That was my main gripe about this whole boat since I got it. I know, looking at comments on websites and stuff like that, I know people have gripes about the trailer that comes, you know, that the nitros come on. Rightfully so. Luckily, I've not had a problem with my trailer yet. And it's kind of disheartening when you spend this kind of money on a boat and you got nothing but issues. But luckily with mine, I got mine figured out. So if any guys own a nitro and you're having that problem, that's exactly what it is the main shutoff switch is wired completely backwards. So it runs off one battery instead of two. The boat itself, like I said, I really love the boat. I always joke everybody and tell everybody that Nitro is just a poor man's Ranger is what it is. But it doesn't ride as good as a Ranger, I don't believe. I've not ridden a lot of Rangers, but it doesn't maybe ride quite as good. But going from a 18, 19 foot aluminum boat that I had before this fiberglass, this is night and day difference. This is a dream to me. I do love the boat. I've got a lot of hours on the boat already. I really like this boat. If I go get another boat, trade this one in, I would probably go look at a Ranger, to be honest with you. But I am not disappointed that I bought this boat at all. It's been a great boat. Mechanically, structurally, everything like that. I've not had a single issue with it. It's been a fantastic boat. We do take very good care of it too, but as you can see, it's a little dirty today, so it doesn't really look like we take a lot of good care of it. But like I said before, at the beginning of the video, I was out fishing yesterday, so it does need to be cleaned. But other than that, I mean, the boat has everything I need in it as far as storage, as far as how it's set up. I don't know anything else different that I really do to have this boat suit what I do, but it's a fantastic boat. I really like it. But I'll jump down and kind of show you the outside. And also one thing I didn't go over was the seats. The lighting in my garage is absolutely horrible, so I apologize. I'm trying to get this so you can see it. But we specially ordered these seats with this boat, and they were $650 extra from the regular stock or base seats. And what happened was, you can see in some of my videos, you can see it from here, got that blue tape up there. What happened is the stitching around the Nitro came loose on my side. And that happened a year and a half in of getting the boat. As you can see, this one's starting to do it too. So I went to get new seats. Now, of course, with our lovely government and our lovely president, they're now $900 a seat. And of course, I asked customer service or the folks that work at the dealer where I bought it. I said, so you expect me to pay $900 for a seat that lasted a year and a half, and you guys don't stand behind it? So that's one of the main gripes I had too, is their customer service. So their warranty may or may not be the best. But one other modification we did make is these here, the smooth move seat pedestals. That is an absolute must. What a night and day difference on how a boat rides with those smooth moves in it. Right here's the outside. I ordered it this color. I ordered the blue and then the gray here with the white pinstripes. What I do like about the paint job on these is this is not a decal. This is actually paint, so it never peels off. This here's a hard plastic decal. I've had these replaced since I got it, a year after I got it, because all the coloring came out of it. And so is this. This is that hard plastic decal. I don't know what they're called, but it's not wrapped, you know, so this is all paint. The white, the black, everything's all paint. You know, I like the boat. I like the color. I kind of get a lot of comments on it. But the problem I did have was when I bought the boat, I noticed on the other side, you can't see it here, I was starting to get a big gash and rub mark right here, right in here. And what I was doing was when you load the boat, it would rub on here just a little bit, just enough to start rubbing the clear coat and the gel coating off and everything else. So what I had to do is, I don't know if you can see it, I took it in, I hadn't replaced the carpet on the bunks right away just because they had to take the boat off the trailer, but they put these little spacers in right here, little 1/4-inch spacers between the bracket for the bunk and the bunk itself. And that lifted it up just enough to clear everything just perfectly. So now it doesn't rub, it doesn't do a thing. It clears the trailer just fine. So, little modification there. So, that's not the end of the world. Then I apologize, the lighting is not that great. I was gonna do this video outside, but 40-mile-an-hour winds, I figured with that, nobody'd hear me talk because the mics wouldn't be working anyway. So, up front, of course, you got your winch or your crank to crank on the boat. What we did invest in last year was this catch and release boat latch right here. I don't know if you can see it in the dark here really, but that is a lifesaver. Here's a handle for it. I bring my wife comes with all the time and she drives the boat. So when I back the boat in the water, she just starts it up and she walks up front, she pulls that handle, the boat comes off the trailer, easy peasy. We go to load it, she comes on the trailer, I stay in the pickup, it latches. As soon as it latches, she gives me the okay and I pull the boat out. Saves a lot of time, saves a lot of energy. I love that. I'd recommend anybody getting that. But that kind of breaks down the tour and also the pros and cons of my Nitro and kind of the way I got things set up. If you have any questions, any comments, please leave them below. I'll be happy to answer them. I don't have anything fancy in here compared to I think anybody else. But if you do have any comments or any suggestions, I'd love to hear them. I'm always up for trying new things also. Thanks for watching. We're getting ready for the long weekend. That's another reason I'm not fishing today. We're getting ready for the long weekend. The 4th of July is coming up. So we're getting stuff packed and getting stuff ready for that. So I'm hoping to bring a cranking video, a slip bobber video. And I know in my last video I said I was gonna have a slip bobber video. Tried that yesterday, didn't pan out. That's a story for another day. But yeah, cranking video, probably a Lindy rigging video, and hopefully a slip bobber and drop shot video. So thanks a lot, stay tuned. I will see you next week again. I'll be back in the water. Thanks for watching, have a good day.